Dan, we need your help, brother. What if I'm the average guy that's being cheated on? How do I stop it from happening?
I mean, there's so much to it, man. Like a big piece of this is like how you set the foundation of your relationship. And this is why I tell people it's like very important to get girls to chase you, because when you're chasing a girl, then like when she gets you, she doesn't know if she wants to keep you, if you're good enough, or this or that. Whereas if she's been chasing you and you finally decide to date her, she's just like happy to be dating you. So it's very different, man. Like I'm telling you, like it doesn't sound that important, but it is important to like have the foundation of the relationship, like where you're not needy. And too many of these guys are like super needy and they come into the relationship as being needy. And in order to be in a good relationship, like period, guy or girl, you have to not need anything from that relationship. You have to be happy in homeostasis by yourself, like with nobody, or either that or have a bunch of fucking options where if she doesn't fucking act right, you got 3 bitches waiting. Whatever the case is, you have to not need it. Right? And then if you hang out with her, it's because you want to hang out with her, not because you need a companion, because you're lonely or whatever the fuck ever, right? Like, and so I think that's a big part of it. So like the whole like setup and framework and foundation of this has to be right. And in that relationship, you have to act right too. Like you can't put up with a bunch of shit. You can't let her get away with a bunch of shit, because if she gets away with a bunch of shit, she's going to lose respect for you along the road. And this is another situation where neither person's happy. The fucking girl that's been like treating the guy like shit isn't happier. She has less respect for this guy. He's taking the shit, like, and neither of them win. It's like a lose-lose. Whereas if the guy stands up for himself, calls the chick out, checks her, she'll respect him, she'll act right, he'll be happier, she'll be happier. So like there's many things where like this can get very derailed early on. And then the problem is you start going down the wrong road early. And the deeper you go down the road, the harder it is to get back to where you're supposed to fucking
And the worse she's gonna treat you, and the
Well said,
evil
bro.
she's gonna
Well
be.
said.
I mean, that's a
Yeah.
fucking down the market.
Down the
Because
market.
I agree with that 1,000%. I mean, and you know, the strategy you just employed, I've said that before. The girl's gotta like you more than you like her. And you mentioned something about her chasing you, right? And you setting it up where she chases you because that way she's gonna respect you more. Would you say that, because we talked about social media, girls having all these options, girls being fairly delusional of where their value is, etc. Would you say social media has pretty much created an environment where men have to operate this way nowadays with modern day dating and modern day women?
I mean, I think social media has perpetuated a lot of the problems. I think it's like granted access like unnecessarily. And because it's granted these girls access to all these different celebrities, now everybody's being compared to these people, right? So it's like creating unrealistic expectations. It's creating an ecosystem that was never there before. And so it's like if you give everybody in the world access to everybody else, then it's like everybody's competing against 8 billion people. Like, you know, I can compete against, 400 people in a small town and be the man, but like, can you compete against fucking like 10 million people in LA? Can you compete against fucking 100 million people? Can you compete against fucking 4 billion people? Like, at what point, like, can you not compete? Because nobody's the best in every single category.
Yeah.
So no matter who the fuck you are, there's going to be a category that you're lacking in. So if you're being held to that standard, it's like nobody's going to be happy. The girl's not going to be happy with you. You're not going to feel adequate. It's like this, like, just nonsensical thing. And it's like they focus it really like on the body positivity shit. And instead, like, why don't you focus on, because body positivity is like the one thing you can actually do something about. Like almost everybody could have like a top tier physique if they just fucking worked hard enough, But all this other shit, it's like you can't grow taller, like not everybody can be a fucking billionaire, you know what I mean? Like everybody, it's whatever these things that they want are, it's like all of this is not achievable. Can you focus on like one thing and get better at it? Yeah, but like, if you're born ugly, like you better get rich, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, that's what I'm saying. But if she expects good looking and rich and this and that, it's like.
And I think that's kind of where it's at, where it's like all the women are chasing a small minority of the men, and most of the guys don't have, the income, the height, the charm, the charisma, the nice Instagram, the blue check, the social status, etc. It's like, I'll say this. I mean, this might be controversial, but I think if a girl has like slept with like 5 or 10 celebrities, like, bro, you probably don't want to take that girl seriously at all. Like, I mean, it especially if you're an average guy. Like, it's just not a good look for you. Like, if a girl tells me anything like, oh, I've dated this celeb before, I've dated this guy, I instantly say, yeah, this girl's streets. I'm never going to take her serious.
Dan,
I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I've battled with some of them, so I know, yeah, I mean, it's a whole thing, you know what I mean? Like, fucking, there's a couple of them that fucking really hate my ass guys, some of their bitches.
Dan, if you had to choose between money status, and let's say, for example, looks. As a guy, what would be the number one thing you would choose out of those three
Money, status, and looks. If I could choose one,
to get girls?
If your goal was, if you only had one marker,
it's not even close.
yeah,
It's not. It's, there's,
Yeah.
it's
We say the same thing.
you say the same shit.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not even a conversation.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
Bro, look. I mean, look at like fucking Leo, like all these guys, like all these categories that these women say they want, everything. It's like it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like if Leo's got a 5-inch dick, he's still getting all the pussy. You know what I mean? If Leo's fucking 4'5", he's still getting all the pussy. Like whatever. Like you know what I mean? If you're like famous enough, all that stuff just falls out.
I agree with you 1,000%.
And also, I saw it because I got different things at different times. Like I got the money 1st, and well, no, I can't. I mean, I guess like it depends on how like all the different categories. So like at first, I got into shape.
Yep.
Because I wanted to do I wanted to have every fucking advantage that
Yeah.
I could have. Because I didn't get a lot of pussy when I was in junior high and like
Yep.
high school, and I was in jail my senior year, right? So I had this perceived fucking lack that I wanted to make up for, and so I want to make sure I checked every motherfucking box. So like. First thing was getting in good shape.
Yep.
I finally got to be popular, but then I got thrown in jail. So it's like, it's like little things along the way. But when I put the being in good shape and being popular in college together, it was like, man, fucking all bets were off. And then when we added that to the setup, which was like that ratio was right at our parties. I mean, bro,
Well, I'm going to ask you about that next. We'll continue. I don't want to interrupt you.
It was absurd. And so
Yeah.
then, so I had those things. So like we got the looks in order, we got the status in order, we got the fucking setup in order. So it's like, and I saw those, right? And
Then the money came.
then I got rich, right? Like, and I got rich in different levels, and so I saw like the varying like just
Tiers of women.
Yeah, money's a tool, right? So
Yep.
like I saw the different levels of that money, right? Because
Yep.
there's there's like money, and then there's like real money, and then there's like fuck you money, and then there's like okay, we can change the world money, right? There's different levels to it.
Absolutely.
So like for me, it's like it's just like I don't like if it's not like 50, 100 million, like I wouldn't even consider that having money, right?
Yeah.
So like, but I'm maybe a fucked up outlier, right? But I've been jaded, so like everybody's got their own view, but like for me, it's like fuck, I don't know, I didn't really think that I had money until I hit that threshold, and so when I hit that threshold, I saw how that.
We're talking over 100 million right now, just to be specific. Okay,
like
all right.
50, 100, like those,
Yeah.
like where you can get a jet, like you're never flying commercial, you got a
Yep.
nice house, like all this shit.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like I was living like I had like 500 million when I had like 50, because I had all the sickest houses. I was renting my house in LA, I was renting this house in San Diego, and I was getting crazy deals. The house in San Diego was like a 20-something million dollar house. The house in LA was probably like $20 million house. Then I had the penthouse in Vegas, which was like the nicest fucking apartment. So I had like the nicest places, the nicest spots.
Yeah.
I had the Ferraris, I had all the shit. There's nothing more. I bought a plane, right?
Yeah.
Fuck. So I had there was nothing else I really could buy other than maybe a yacht. Like if I had $1 billion, I wouldn't have really like had anything different. Like maybe I would have had a bigger.
You know what's funny? Andrew said the same thing. Once you hit 20 million or above, you're pretty much in the same locations as the billionaires, etc. It's like,
It's higher than 20.
you
50
think it's
million.
higher?
50 is minimum because like
50.
you can't really get a plane. The plane is a big game changer, especially now with all these fucking
Okay.
shits.
So you would say 50 million is at that point where it's like, okay, now it's like you're doing same shit as all the billionaires, you're in the same areas as them.
I think 20 million is you've got everything that you need, basic needs met.
Okay.
Like luxury needs met. Like you can have a Ferrari. You're not balling out of control. You're not flying private all the time. You don't have multiple houses. You're not like you don't have the retirement money, but like you've got like the shit that you want. Basic shit like. Whatever. Every guy wants a Ferrari. Every guy wants a fucking nice watch, right? You got like the basic shit.
Yeah.